A lot to be proud of, and it all happened so fast, like it's hard to appreciate in the moment.
That is Iowa native and Indiana Fever star, and now Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year, Caitlin Clark, looking back at a whirlwind year.
Caitlin Clark just gone viral on the internet, but not for the reasons you may anticipate. That simply left the basketball world in awe of this 22-year-old superstar. Won numerous awards, making some of her WNBA peers jealous.
I see are the bees that are being dramatic about Caitlin Clark. That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
From winning Athlete of the Year multiple times to earning a place on Forbes' list of the 100 most powerful women, Caitlin Clark's trophy case is brimming with honors. Yet, while many admirers are rejoicing in her incredible accomplishments, some are less encouraging and are disparaging her. You'll be astounded at what they're doing and who's leading the jealousy parade.
Time magazine recognizes the monster impact Clark had on basketball, saying good luck naming another athlete who altered the trajectory of their entire team sport within 5 months on the job.
Caitlin Clark has swept the basketball world with ease, winning awards as though she won the Times Athlete of the Year award and earned a place on Forbes' 100 Most. Forbes' 30 Under 30 list featured prominent women, and to top it all off, has received a nomination for BBC Sports Personality of the Year. But why is a 22-year-old rookie is getting a lot of attention?
I first want to start with Time Magazine, Ari, and I think this is maybe the least surprising announcement of the year, that the Athlete of the Year for Time Magazine is Caitlin.
Imagine a young lady entering the court and immediately grabbing the attention of everyone. For your information, that's Caitlin Clark. She's not only shattering records, she's overwhelming them with an incredible 62 records in the WNBA alone. Are legendary, not just amazing.
There's only one that can do what Caitlin Clark did. Bring all those eyes. For pure basketball purists, there's nobody like her. Now, culturally, we can make an argument, but like on the court, what she did, and I don't know if you saw, Indiana Fever yesterday posted this clip of Caitlin, and the caption was just her accolades, and it took 5 minutes to read, and I'm like, girl, do you want to chill at all? She doesn't know.
Zero. And listen, I think this is probably the easiest decision to make.
However, Caitlin Clark's influence is widespread. She is changing the game in ways that no one could have predicted, even beyond the stat sheet. Expected, recall how Clark made the skeptics who said women's basketball wasn't thrilling eat there. Her distinct style of play enthralls spectators, making every game. According to her, I've been able to captivate a lot of individuals who are enjoying musty TV, have never turned them on and watched women's sports, much less women's basketball, into admirers.
We've never, ever seen somebody in this way capture an audience, capture a new audience, and be able to absolutely attribute real numbers and statistics to their popularity, right?
Yes.
19 million people watching, and certainly watching the national championship.
What really distinguishes Caitlin Clark from other newcomers isn't not just her tremendous talent, but also her remarkable capacity to uplift everyone in her vicinity. Has both basketball fans and experts giddy with anticipation for what's to come. She recalls the times when WNBA games had trouble drawing large crowds. Days are fading into the past since the WNBA struggled with low attendance and dwindling viewership, making many people doubt its viability. People asked if Caitlin Clark, a single player, could truly make a difference. Firmly responded in the affirmative to the query, changing the league's terrain and demonstrating that a strong movement might be sparked by a single star.
We talk about ceilings a lot, but she created a new floor. So now we're going to look back. Even if it doesn't hit the numbers that it hit this season, the expectation is much higher. The interest is generally much higher. The investment is much higher.
Let's examine the data because Caitlin Clark. TV ratings are through the roof since joining the WNBA, and attendance has increased dramatically. Sales of items and roofs are booming, but it's not only about. With more fans and media, Clark's popularity is boosting the league as a whole. Coverage and increased player chances have made the WNBA into. Analysts claim that Clark is the only one who can provide must-see entertainment. Not only is 26.5% of the league's avenue noteworthy, but it's a game changer. Clark has spurred a campaign in which teammates Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull have publicly commended her, as friends Cameron Brink and Sabrina Ionescu. Even Kim MKY Angel Reese's old coach set aside the past to celebrate her accomplishment. Rivals to label Clark a generational talent, but her influence goes well beyond that. Statistics, she's transforming the global perception of women's basketball, but with backlash follows achievement, with several WNBA veterans feeling that Clark's quick ascent of AIA Wilson's recent Time magazine remarks and Angel Reese's growing speaking fees are causing resentment in the league, even to the point where Cheryl Snatches, a WNBA legend, questioned Clark's recent achievements, but he stays focused despite the drama. Her influence isn't limited to improving her team. Allowing her game speak for itself speaks loudly. Her appearance in Forbes 30 Under 30 is changing women's sports in general. 30 to her contribution to increasing league-wide attendance and sales of products. Clark is at the forefront of a new era, and everyone's eyes are on them as the 2025 season draws near. Angel Reese's Chicago Sky will play her Indiana Fever in a highly anticipated expected opener. Clark's goals extend beyond her own achievements. She's vowed to elevate the entire sport, stating, "I am aware that my star power comes with advantages, but I also want to recognize the efforts made by others who came before me to get the league to this point. Her influence is already historic, but Clark's capacity to inspire is only getting started." Supporters and teammates come together to celebrate Caitlin Clark's rewriting of the women's. In addition to altering the game, she's paving the way for basketball as she keeps setting records and expanding the league. The best is yet to come, and the excitement is growing for future generations. Did you hear the most recent controversy surrounding WNBA player Diana Taurasi? Being compared to a rookie sensation infuriates the all-time greats. As a seasoned veteran, Caitlin Clark Taurasi feels she should be given more attention and appreciation for her efforts. Refute assertions that Clark is surpassing her. Taurasi, who has continuously been a pillar of the Phoenix Mercury, believes that she is being undermined by the comparisons. Legacy. In a recent interview, Taurasi said, "I've devoted my life to this game. It is unfair to be compared to a rookie who is just beginning her path. I should be given more credit for my years of experience, of perseverance and success." But let's speak about the numbers. Caitlin Clark has been nothing short of amazing last season, averaging 22 points per game and topping the has a 3-point shooting percent and leads the league in assists with 9.5 per game. Taurasi, on the other hand, averaged 18 points, 5 assists, and 35% shooting. Additionally, Clark of Beyond the Arc is the record holder for the most assists in a single season, demonstrating how her ability to create plays has changed the Indiana Fever, becoming one of the league's best teams. But Clark's influence extends beyond the statistics. She's rekindled the passion, transforming a losing squad into a playoff contender. Competitors with her exciting play and leadership, and Taurasi has been a reliable performer. Clark's explosive. Since her performances have drawn attention, many contend that she is the player with the most value this season. After more than 20 years in the league, Taz's dissatisfaction makes sense. She has won 2 MVP awards, 5 WNBA titles, and innumerable other honors. Some fans and observers believe that a rookie is already outperforming her. This has generated a contentious discussion on the standards used to evaluate veteran players against rising stars. Detractors of the comparisons show that Clark is a strong MVP due to her all-around skill and statistical supremacy. Contender, but Taurasi's backers contend that leadership experience and clutch plays are equally, if not more, crucial in high-stakes games. Compared to raw data, the dispute peaked when Taurasi faced the "It's like comparing apples and oranges when narrative Heaton compares me to Caitlin," stated that consistency and experience are important. Caitlin is amazing, but she's still discovering I've been here creating this league, and I anticipate being handled with the deference that accompanies that, while Caitlin Clark keeps thrive, demonstrating that her debut season will go down in history because of her capacity to. She has a devoted following thanks to her ability to score, distribute, and make game-winning plays. And a key place in MVP debates as the season goes on. The Terasai and Clark's rivalry demonstrates the changing dynamics of the. In the WNBA, both seasoned players and newcomers are challenging one another to reach new heights. The argument isn't just about who has superior numbers, it's also about whether a player's ability is what really makes them valuable. To control the scoreboard, the knack for improving teammates, or the ability to guide a group through difficult. Various aspects of grandeur are represented by Times2 and Clark, and their comparison brings up significant issues regarding how we recognize and celebrate league talent as the WNBA season intensifies. Caitlin Clark Taz and Diana Taurasi's demand for improved care of. The discussion surrounding players is being shaped by veterans and Clark's unquestionable rise, value, and legacy, regardless of whether you support Taz's background or Clark's outstanding statistics. It's evident that the WNBA has a bright future thanks to both legends and rising stars advancing the game. What should veterans do? Experience should be exceptional or weigh more heavily in MVP calculations. The spotlight is on rookie performances like Caitlin Clark's.
A'ja Wilson 1, Nafisa Collier 2, Sabrina Ionescu 3, Breanna Stewart 4, Alyssa Thomas 5, and honorable mentions, Caitlin Clark.
Did you see the most recent shocking revelation from rookie Caitlin Clark in the WNBA? It's shocking that a powerhouse that has been dominating the courts and breaking records all season has not made the top MVP discussion, but this is where things become very explosive. A'ja Wilson, the current MVP, is upset about this because more and more fans and analysts are stating, believes Clark's outstanding performance is more deserving of the MVP award than her. Did Clark get benched despite her impressive stats and game-changing influence? The basketball community is debating this subject in great detail.
She is leading the WNBA in points generated, which means points scored and or points assisted on. She is leading the league by a significant margin, and she is doing this as a rookie with a Fever team that is not comprised of a bunch of all-stars.
Now, let's explore the MVP ranks that are creating a lot of buzz in the WNBA, with A'ja Wilson at the forefront, firmly maintaining the top position.
There's no debating it. If you even talk about MVP, you have to be like, well, of course A'ja Wilson's running away with it. Like, you cannot even have any kind of constructive conversation around MVP unless you preface it by saying, well, I already know that A'ja Wilson won. Like, that's the standard.
Arriving hot at second place goes to Nafisa Kerr from the men's Lynx. Each time she enters the court, she assumes complete control of the game, having a profound effect on both her. Modest but deadly, Kerr continuously establishes her control over both the opposition and the team. Nafisa can take over the game at any moment, and her powerful presence makes it impossible to ignore. Observed her often, and despite some ARG, Sabrina Ionescu is obstinately maintaining her third-place ranking. Although she doesn't deserve it, Breanna Stewart and Alyssa Thomas managed to clinch their spots in the top 5. The true shock, whereas Caitlin Clark, the up-and-coming star who has been setting. With her amazing performances, the League of Blaze is totally missing from. The top 5 are amazing, aren't they?
And Nafisa can take over the game at any point in time. We've seen her do this on multiple occasions.
You may believe there has been a mix-up, but the MVP ranking on their website is precisely how it is right now. Even use this comment to highlight Caitlin Clark.
Getting to the honorable mention, they have Caitlin Clark.
You've heard that Caitlin Clark, not Clark, is only rapping on the door of MVP. Isn't just knocking, Caitlin ought to be seated at the top already. Along with A'ja, Clark unquestionably merits a place among the top 3 MVP candidates. The data, along with Wilson and Nafisa Kerr, make it impossible to doubt.
While the Fever underwent understandable woes in the first month of the season, Indiana is 14-6 over their last 20 games, including 2 massive wins coming out of the All-Star break. Clark has found a synergy with her teammates and elite comfort on the floor as a facilitator and creator. She's knocking on the door of first-team All-W and top 5 finish in MVP voting.
To tell the truth, Asia Wilson was. Exceptional without a doubt, but Caitlin Clark, a rookie, has surpassed her in many ways, such as three-pointers, assists, free throw percentages, and even setting the assist. Clark's impact on the court record is indisputable, demonstrating that she is anything but average. So why is she being ignored? Everyone is perplexed. Some claim it's. Others contend that because she is a rookie and the league favors established stars, that the full situation is not captured by individual statistics, and this snub hasn't gone away unnoticed. The argument is intensifying as Rachel Dida and other voices criticize the. Dida notes that throughout the NBA's MVP selection process, each time Clark improves her performance and raises the bar for acknowledgement, making it more difficult for her to win MVP. She certainly merits it, considering just one rookie in history, Candace Parker in 2008, has. It seems like there is an unspoken taboo against winning the MVP award. Considering that athletes are the most valued, why are rookies viewed as being too inexperienced, or is there a preference for veterans? Clark is defying this by performing exceptionally well not only as a rookie, but also across a number of. According to SWEEPS, no one in the league is able to flip logo 3ES. Clark is currently promoting AIA Wilson for the job as easily as Caitlin can. Wilson has won the MVP award for her outstanding ability to manage the game, although won consecutive titles with a roster full of stars, and Clark is changing the Indiana Fever more than ever before. The Fever struggled with a 13-27 record following the All-Star break. They turned the tide with a 14-6 victory, courtesy of Clark's guidance, and her outstanding performances elevate her squad as a whole, not just her score. In contrast to Candace, Clark led them to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. In terms of assists and steals, Parker Clark is already outperforming Parker as a rookie. She is a game changer because of her all-around skill, which is setting new standards in three-pointers and free throw percent. In the meantime, Asia Wilson's influence on the Fever is evident, as she transformed a struggling squad into one of the league's hottest. Shines on a squad that includes several All-Stars and members of Team USA, making her, on the other hand, remarkable accomplishments backed by a solid roster. Without the same degree of celebrity endorsements emphasizing her own worth, Clark thrives. The WNBA MVP discussion is escalating if the player who contributes to the success of their team has the best stats, or who is changing the game. Clark's season is making us reconsider conventional MVP standards that combine Caitlin's revolutionary team effect with individual excellence. Clark's ascent is more than just a rookie tale. It's a WNBA revolution as she maintains her dominance and elevate her team, but the question still stands. Is it time to remove outdated obstacles and acknowledge the MV value that players like Clark bring to the league? Clark is smack at the middle of the ongoing discussion, pushing us to rethink what it means to be the most valuable player. In your opinion, the player who improves their team's performance and has the best stats should get MVP achievement, or the person who is changing the rules of the game?
Get their stats. Asia wipes the floor with both of them. The only categories that she doesn't have are assists, three-point percentage, and free throw percentage. Caitlin has all of those. She is tied for steals with Nafisa.
Today, we're going to explore the true story of Caitlin Clark's WNBA salary and wealth. Only the beginning. Learn how she's making a lot of money from speaking engagements that surpass her profits from court appearances. Significance of her endorsements with Wilson and State Farm that changed the game, and the reasons why her. Let's dissect this Nike deal since it can cause some major drama.
The reality is that as from a marketing perspective, Caitlin Clark is worth more than almost any pro basketball player in the world. If we're like purely talking about giving the money for endorsement deals.
Stay put, because you'll see why Caitlin Clark is positioned to emerge as the next sporting powerhouse at the end of this film. Marketing, and the reasons why some well-known firms may be regretting not embracing it sooner.
Which was mental. Which was absolutely mental.
Is it true that Caitlin Clark, the basketball star who lights up the courts, is only going to make a meager $76 $535 during her first season in the WNBA, which is less than the pay for many entry-level office jobs in the NBA. Many contend that because of the obvious disarray, players like Clark are being underappreciated by the league, but even meager compensation doesn't fully capture the. Let's examine why Clark isn't having sleep problems because of her WNBA salary. Even while $70,000 might not seem like a superstar wage, it's only the beginning. The irony in Caitlin Clark's financial tale is that the WNBA is more than just a. Her hidden weapon is her paycheck. The league provides something far more significant than cash. Every time Clark takes the court, Million Song comes to mind. National broadcasts of her games are dominated by her highlight reels. Her name is well known on social media, and this kind of exposure is a marketing treasure trove that transforms her platform into a multi-million-dollar catapult similar to
higher than the NBA. So I was like, oh, what's she gonna get paid? Because finally, you know, you can get a real paycheck. And then I saw it, and I was like, this can't be right, because this is what it is. In the first year, Caitlin Clark will earn $76,535.
Consider it when Caitlin Clark makes a long three-point shot or threads an impossible pass. You're seeing something that's beyond amazing. Basketball, you're witnessing the realization of a brand at every crossover. Great help. Each buzzer beater is not only a highlight but also another chance for Clark to demonstrate her talent to the world. And believe me, the world is observing. So how is Clark generating revenue from all of this visibility? Her meager WNBA salary is only the start of the amazing journey. Opens the door to a plethora of opportunities off the court that we are discussing. Endorsement agreements, speaking engagements, and collaborations that might significantly surpass her league revenues. The unmatched league is the game changer.
Like, whatever really happens with Caitlin Clark, I would say her big thing is to be ready for the WNBA season. And people are like, why? She's only making $70,000 in the WNBA. What is the point of her worrying about that league rather than trying to push for other leagues and other ways to make more money? Because the WNBA is what's getting the most eyes.
You've undoubtedly heard the rumors that Clark ought to leave the WNBA and go with Unmatched, where she might have been earning millions right now, but the worst part is that Clark declined. Taking the long view here, Unmatched could result in a larger salary right from the start, but the WNBA offers something that no other organization can match: a tried-and-true platform with a devoted following, base, and significant media agreements that ensure her national awareness so that the next time someone complains regarding Caitlin Clark's $70,000 WNBA contract, keep in mind that, just the beginning, Clark is not only controlling the court but is also changing the rules for how players should perform, construct their brands, and believe me, this is just the start of what she can do. Clark's basketball skills may not even be her most valued asset. Rather, it's her ability to speak, but post-game interviews are what Clark is talking about. Earning six figures for speaking engagements that are shorter than a basketball quarter.
And it has also been reported that Unrivaled 3-on-3 League offered Caitlin Clark significant equity in the league and a salary that is over $1 million. So this is the first time that we've heard of any money being thrown at her. We've heard that it would be a major deal. It would be a similar setup as to what Messi got.
That's correct. Caitlin Clark is completely taking over on stage 2. Her speeches are becoming legendary, and the numbers are. Let's take a look at Clark's virtual speaking fee, which begins at, in less time than it takes to watch, she received $100,000 for just 30 minutes of her time. She's making more money for in-person appearances and half an episode of a sitcom than most people do in a year. Businesses are spending anywhere from $200,000 to. In some regions of the nation, a single-family home might cost $300,000. Look, Clark has given speeches at least 6 times in the last year alone. Do the arithmetic and you're considering possible incomes in the millions, and these gigs are taking place online in addition to in person. Additionally, well-known businesses are willing to pay top bucks for her words, but why are businesses are prepared to spend a lot of money only to listen to Clark talk? It all comes down to due of her star power. Clark's profile grows each time she takes the WNBA court. She is more than just an athlete. She is a brand, an inspiration, and a role model for businesses. Are not only funding her time, but also the attention she attracts, the enthusiasm she arouses, and the Caitlin Clark's influence is revolutionizing the game. Her ability to make deep three-pointers, which are typically associated with Steph Curry, has literally redefined. The standards for women's basketball are more than just her range. Flair for self-assurance and the capacity to continuously perform at a level we've seldom ever seen. Prior to basketball greats and NBA luminaries observing and responding, are evidence of her skill and influence. Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, didn't mince words while praising Caitlin. He emphasized her contributions to the WNBA and demanded improvement. Officials to shield her from hostile MJs and needless AR fouls. Steph Curry's message was clear. Caitlin is a vital member of the team, and the league should treat her as such. Her male counterpart, who is frequently regarded as equally impressed, has noted the parallels between their games, not only in terms of their incredibly quick releases and astounding range, but also in terms of capacity to inspire teammates and entertain audiences. As Steph stated, she's the P-bundle, but Caitlin's ascent hasn't been without difficulties from the She had first encountered animosity and criticism from several WNBA players. Legends like George Gervin and Rick Barry have spoken up for her, pointing out that Barry was rude and jealous. Gervin went on to remark that the hatred stems from a fear of her indisputable talent. Beyond the court, Caitlin has had a significant impact by bringing private charters, larger sponsorships, and unheard of attention. According to Barkley, you should thank that girl for the WNBA, but not everyone does. Explaining that every rookie must establish themselves, Reggie Miller on board views the hardship as a necessary component of Caitlin's journey. Kevin Garnett, who supported that sentiment, described the hard fouls and increased defensive focus as an indication of respect. They both think that these difficulties will only strengthen her position in the Caitlin dispute. Reached a new level after being excluded off the U.S. Olympic roster, which drew criticism from. While some, including Dwight Howard, disagreed, Paul Pierce claimed it was a lost chance for the sport. According to Howard, the gap may have been a godsend, allowing Caitlin to rest and take responsibility of. Caitlin has maintained her focus and level of play during the second half of the season, has become sharper, faster, and even more thrilling, thanks to legends like Shaquille. Her play Shaq has been hailed by O'Neal for its capacity to silence critics. His distinctive style brilliantly encapsulated what I mean when I remark that you won't. The amazing thing is that you hit that shot, and you hit it nevertheless. Caitlin has already made significant contributions to women's basketball, and Magic Johnson, who hasn't. She was compared to young talents like Angel Reese by the WNBA's ownership group, stating that players like Caitlin. Magic also noted that it's not only about Caitlin being the most influential person in the league, popular athlete, it's about her chances of becoming as successful as he and. Despite all the difficulties and commotion, Larry Bird once did Caitlin's journey has been nothing short of revolutionary. She's attracting admirers and elevating the league's reputation and demonstrating that, as Charles Barkley once stated, women's basketball is a powerful force. For her contributions to the game, Caitlin Clark is owed a great deal by the WNBA. She is a trailblazer and a rising star because of her capacity to perform well under duress. Basketball legends are there to elevate the game and deal with hardship with grace. Both supporters and detractors are cheering her on, whether she breaks records or transforming attitudes. Caitlin is creating a legacy that will be discussed for years to come.
I think she's either one, if she shows up to somewhere, you're probably paying her $2,000 to $3,000 or $200,000 to $300,000, or it's free. I think she probably does a lot of things for free. That would be my prediction, is that if she wants to be somewhere and she just wants to help out, she'll do quite a few things for free. But if she's not doing it for free, I would say her cost is crazy high.
Megyn Kelly, did you notice what just happened? Yes, Megyn Kelly isn't holding back after making some shocking remarks regarding the WNBA. It's difficult to think that the league was criticizing Caitlin Clark for being treated like the enemy, so What exactly did? Kelly claims that the WNBA is upset by her direct comments regarding Caitlin Clark, have ignited the basketball world, causing a tremendous uproar throughout the league. Kelly didn't hold back, and now, her remarks have everyone on edge. Let's examine the specifics that have everyone talking.
And Iowa has Caitlin Clark, who's become this huge star. She's amazing, and she's getting all this attention, and some nasty press reporters are upset about it.
Kelly wasn't shy in criticizing them. What's happening to Clark is truly that terrible, she said simply, criticizing the WNBA for its treatment of him. Believe it or not, Kelly's remarks are quite important, and this isn't simply a casual remark.
But she came out to say her own scoring record stands despite Caitlin Clark beating it, because I guess they didn't have three-pointers when she was playing, which is just ridiculous.
You may be. It's reasonable to wonder how long Megyn Kelly has been interested in basketball, considering she usually avoids involvement with. Her involvement in sports drama is the reason she is coming up at this time. Because of how ridiculous what's happening to Clark is, even Kelly felt obliged to speak out.
So she's getting a lot of hate from people like that. Of course, Jamel Hill has weighed in, like a lot of people taking shots.
Things get pretty heated at this point, as Kelly disclosed that certain players are actually pursuing Clark on the court. She's not just talking about playing tough defense or engaging in normal competitiveness, asserting that Clark is being abused and receiving this, she says. How wild is that the league is letting it happen?
She's been in the WNBA for 2 minutes. There's no reason to hate her other than the amount of attention she's getting and her skin color. I mean, would this be happening to a black Caitlin Clark?
No.
Getting the same amount of attention.
However, Kelly didn't stop there. She connected Clark's treatment to more significant problems in women's sports, as you are aware of Clark's involvement with. Kelly, who has been in the news a lot lately, made a startling claim that.
And it's resulted in physical alterations on the court that don't get called as fouls, that the girls then deny were intentional. And Caitlin Clark always takes the high road. She never, points the finger, but it happened again.
That's a grave charge, and it sparked intense responses from everyone. Kelly is saying that there is a great deal of racial animosity, not simply about fouls and hard play. She thinks Clark is at the center of everything that's going on in the WNBA.
Many black women inside the WNBA are resentful that this white woman came in and is getting all this attention.
You may be wondering if Kelly is right about everything. That's the big question, but one thing is for sure. Her remarks are making everyone take it seriously. Analyze the league's actual situation. Kelly thinks Clark is transforming the sport into something mainstream, and if so, it appears that not everyone is happy with it.
The people weren't going, Jake, because they were homophobic, racists. That's why the other girls resent Caitlin getting attention, because she's not black.
This isn't just some drama. The WNBA is being rocked by a huge earthquake. The aftershocks from Kelly's bombshell will be felt even if we are only seeing the early tremors for an extended period of time.
These are the highest ratings in more than 10 years. And it is 100% because of Caitlin Clark.
Those are regular NBA ratings. Like if you get a couple million people watching an NBA game, you're pretty happy as a network guy. She is the Michael Jordan. Like I know you're not a major basketball
I know.
But she is the Michael Jordan of female basketball. Every single player in that league, every single coach, manager, janitor, anyone who has anything to do with that league should be bowing at the altar of this woman. She is transforming the sport into something mainstream, which is what the WNBA was set out to do, and I think it started in 1994 or 1995.
Although Caitlin Clark caused a stir in the women's athletics community, this time it wasn't. Her outstanding debut at an LPGA Prom event on the basketball court created a stir that astounded both critics and admirers.
Caitlin Clark's golf debut just made me so upset with the WNBA because the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season.
Although the LPGA lavished her with attention, the NBA's lack of any response, it was hard to overlook what was actually taking place in the background.
Now, from this event, I have only seen and heard of positive things. I didn't hear one thing about how her fans are toxic. I didn't hear one thing about there being too much spotlight on Caitlin Clark, and it should have maybe been on the professional golfers that are there. We didn't hear any of that.
Let's break it. The LPGA planned this opportunity rather than merely being fortunate. With accuracy, they matched Caitlin with the world's top-ranked golfer, Nelly Korda. When the top golfer in the world teams up with one of the biggest names in women's basketball, it's hardly a coincidentally, Caitlin and Nelly's clever marketing images were widely shared on social media, creating a buzz that went well beyond basketball fans, golf fans, and other sports fans. Immediately captivated.
I honestly just got so triggered by Caitlin Clark's golf debut, and it is no fault of hers that I got upset. It is the fault of the WNBA because the LPGA just did everything.
In the meantime, the WNBA, the organization that launched them with Caitlin, said nothing at all. Fans undoubtedly noticed that they didn't tweet, post, or highlight her golf triumph, and it caused a lot of inquiries as to why her own league wasn't commemorating this momentous occasion. Like a hugely lost chance, particularly after the LPGA demonstrated Caitlin's star power to a different sport.
How this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television.
The LPGA wasn't the only organization to capitalize on Caitlin's star power. Every move she made was covered by media outlets, including Bleacher Report and SportsCenter. Everything Caitlin did at the event, including her swings and her contacts with spectators, made headlines. News: the LPGA capitalized on the attention to promote not just Caitlin, but, in contrast to the WNBA, it was a win-win arrangement that also included their best golfers. Adopted a new strategy during Caitlin's rookie campaign, and many supporters believed the league wasn't doing enough to encourage her in spite of her exceptional accomplishments and the obvious impact Caitlin Clark has on the league's viewership figures. Appeared reluctant to embrace her growing fame, while detractors said that the WNBA was making an excessive effort to divide attention equitably, even though it was clear that Caitlin was the main attraction. The LPGA Pram made hesitation even more apparent as the LPGA capitalized on Caitlin's fame. The NBA's silence was conspicuous since fans didn't refrain from venting their displeasure on social media by posting numerous pointed, discovered that the WNBA wasn't, as they had been claiming all season, use Caitlin's fame to its full potential, so why would the WNBA hold? Some claim the league is wary of concentrating too much on a single player, worrying that it could overshadow others or cause conflict within the league. Believe it's a lost chance connected to antiquated marketing strategies, regardless of the reason why the LPGA plan and the NBA's resounding silence. A startling figure has emerged, forward to stand beside Caitlin Clark as other NBA legends honor her. The WNBA community's reaction has been conflicting, frequently characterized by envy instead of. Respectfully, it's a unique dynamic that highlights the distinction in how basketball players, both male and female, perceive Clark's remarkable ascent on the men's side. Stephen Curry was among the first to publicly support her.
Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things. And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world.
Curry, whose long-range shooting revolutionized the NBA, finds that Clark's game reflects a lot of his own. In an interview, he stated that although her shooting style and range are obviously comparable to his, he only focuses on those. Some things detract from enjoying the rest of her game.
There are photos of Caitlin and Nelly literally everywhere. And the LPGA was so smart in doing this because they knew that there would be so many eyeballs on Caitlin. So if they put their number one golfer, who is currently leading the sport and pushing the sport ahead, if they put her next to Caitlin for the entire event, that's just great. It's great for Nelly and it's great for everyone else.
Curry quickly pointed out that while Clark's shooting captures the most of the attention, her court vision passing abilities and skill set are what really make her stand out. She regularly completes the stat sheet, demonstrating her versatility as a player.
You can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair. Like, she's a performer.
Although he stressed that her shooting talent is her whole strength, he classified it as her superpower. LeBron James, another NBA legend, offered a skill set that really makes her stand out, expressing his appreciation for all that Clark has accomplished on the court.
I saw somebody break down the release time, which is pretty much identical to mine.
Following an NCAA tournament game in which Clark dominated the scoreboard, LeBron James couldn't help but notice. Like he did early in his career, Clark, there are parallels between her and himself, has frequently taken up the duty of guiding her side to victory by changing the momentum of the game alone. According to him, Caitlin Clark is the type of athlete who can take control of a match and help her teammates while still being successful on her own is a great compliment from someone who understands how to lead a team, but theirs. Being from Indiana, primarily the Indianapolis area, Clark's ascension naturally goes beyond her abilities on the court. Evokes memories of Larry Bird, one of basketball's greatest legends from the 1980s. Bird was renowned for his tireless efforts and was more than just a player. It should come as no surprise that ethic, tough style, and intense competition. As Clark continued to set records, comparisons to Bird's basketball brilliance, which had its roots in Indiana, started to appear, and Magic Johnson's hometown connection wasn't the only thing grabbing attention. Bird's old adversary also talked, discussing Clark's influence by contrasting her developing rivalry with Angel Reese with his. Johnson noted that despite his own legendary conflicts with Birds in the 1980s, rivals might be fierce, but they can improve the game and attract more spectators.
It's crazy though, just because her shot it's like that, it's at that level. But if you really watch, like her floor game is as impressive, so it's kind of the total package.
According to Johnson, Caitlin, and the classic basketball spirit, where everyone is excitedly awaiting what will happen, has returned thanks to Angel. Then he said, "It's like Larry and me again," and now Larry Bird himself has finally mentioned Clark, even though he hasn't said much about it up until now. Bird recently gave her some. He asked her for guidance as she encounters increasing criticism on and off the court, to help her stay focused by telling her that although there will always be naysayers, Bird informed her that she will be remembered, so don't persist with what you're doing now. The folks that are dragging you down will eventually go away, I promise. I've been. Rumors concerning Nalissa are rife throughout the Indiana Fever's offseason. Smith is tumultuous and her and Caitlin Clark's tensions are intensifying. Let's go into the drama and finally find out what's actually happening. The Indiana Fever have had a season filled with incredible highs and difficult lows, yet nothing could have equipped them to withstand the shock of Nalissa Smith's behavior, which many perceive as an unexpected. Smith's recent betrayal has caused conflict on the squad and has. We'll examine the debate surrounding Indiana Fever supporters' doubts about the team's future, reactions from teammates and fans, as well as the possible repercussions for Smith. And the Fever began when Melissa Smith tweeted a picture of this innocent woman in a purple car with the message, "Purple looks good on us." Paige Boers, a talented collegiate basketball player, noticed the post and replied with emojis of fire. Smith's response, "You just have to let him be crazy," caused speculation about her future with the Fever, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Fever was celebrating after Caitlin Clark scored a game-high 35 points, securing the 6th playoff seed after a strong 18-10 run after a dismal 29. Smith's post highlighted the causes of internal tensions rather than their resurgence. claims Smith was challenged by Caitlin Clark regarding the tweet that questioned her dedication and drawing attention to Smith's discontent with her part and playing time during. Smith began the game against the Dallas Wings in the regular season finale, accumulated 6 rebounds and 8 points in 19 minutes prior to being frustrated and benched for the second half. She shared amusing pictures while it lasted, sweetie. Public reaction to her girlfriend's encouraging remark that alluded to conflicts with teammates and coaching staff. Swift and scathing fans used hashtags like hashtag to flood social media with demands for Smith's resignation. Many on hashtag Team Nalissa and hashtag Team Caitlin felt deceived by her alleged lack of loyalty, particularly in light of her impressive results and high standards, sports analysts discussed. Some backed Smith, questioning if her actions were the result of a misunderstanding or more serious team problems. Others critiqued her professionalism and its effect on the team, while others expressed anger over her decreased playing time. Christy Sides, the head coach of morale, is having a difficult time keeping the team together. She said she would handle the situation quietly in a statement in response to the criticism, but insiders claim she's deeply worried about how the situation would affect the playoffs. A number of measures are being discussed, including team meetings and reconciliation involves confronting problems head-on to promote candid dialogue. Disciplinary measures that include fines and temporary suspension to strengthen. Speculating about potential trade alternatives for team cohesion, even though Smith's contract allowed for a public apology until 2026 to calm fan wrath and men's relationships, while Nalissa Smith stays. Fans who are active on social media are doubting her dedication to the game because she keeps arguing with her. People are questioning whether this is all due to envy because of star teammate Clark. Smith's on-court performance has decreased during the past season, averaging 10.5 points and Caitlin stealing the show. 7.2 rebounds per game, less than her 15.5 points and 9.2 rebounds from the previous season. Additionally, playing time has dropped from 30.7 minutes in 2022 to 25 minutes at this time. The Fever secured her through the exercise of their 4th option on her contract, 2025, with a pay raise the following year, and her financial future with the group is safe. But her position and level of satisfaction are still unclear because it's likely that we won't be returning following this season, regardless of this incident becomes a source of division or a stimulus for growth, depending on how the Fever, particularly Smith and Clark's choice. In order to proceed, this dispute also emphasizes the wider effects of social. Athletes are reminded by professional sports media to balance their personal expression with duties related to their occupation.